Good day, everyone, respected teacher and dear classmates. Welcome to our presentation on the theme Identifying and Defining People, Object, Place, and Concept. First, allow me introduce our team member. My name is Rani and I will be serving as the Master of Ceremony for today's presentation. Next, we have Emma, who will act as the material presenter. She will explain the main discussion and important point related to our topic. Lastly, we have Aisah, who will serve as the peer assessor. She will observe and evaluate the presentation based on the given assessment criteria. We hope everyone enjoys the presentation and gain useful knowledge from our discussion today.
Well, hello, thank you for the convenience, Rani. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Firda, and you can call me Emma. And today I would like to do our presentation material about describing people, object, places, and also concepts. Okay, so first, this is the material. Let's talk about identifying and defining people, object, places, and also concepts. And it's presented by myself, which is my name is Firda Ramadanti, and also the peer Professor Siti Aisah Torina. First, I will talk about the contents. First, I will explain the reason why identification matters. And after that, I will also explain the part of identifying and defining object, people, place, and also concept. And also, I will tell you about the challenges in identification and the classification system. Also, talk about how the brain organizes information which is related with the identifying and defining. Okay, first, so the introduction part. So as we know, humans classify the world around them to make sense of their environment and establish understanding in diverse contexts. And this natural categorization helps order complex phenomena into identifiable entities. The first part, identification, revolves around recognizing, which means what is it, while defining entails explaining what does it mean. So identification is about what it is, and defining is about what does it mean. It's two different concepts, but both of them provides the clarity in communication and organizations. So the clear definition played a critical role, a crucial role, an important role in fostering effective communications. It can enhance the relational understanding and supporting the cognitive, also learning and memory building. We will jump to the reason why identification matters. Here, I have 5 reasons why identification matters. The first reason is it can enhance the decision making. The accurate identification enables individuals to make a choice in areas such as medicine, technology, and also other. And besides that, it also can improve our understanding. By identifying the key elements in communication like language, symbol, or concept, individuals can build stronger connection and shared meanings. And the third reason, guys, it can support our daily activities. By identification, it can make our task more easy, such as like navigating maps, recognizing scientific terms in education, and also diagnosis disease in medicine, which is we also known in hospital. The fourth reasons why identification matters is because it facilitates the technological advancements. By identifying ourselves through AI, or which is we know as artificial intelligence, like the face recognition system or maybe the fingerprints, we have fingerprints in our phone, it's called AI identification. It has significantly influenced fields like security and automation. By the fingerprint and face recognition in our phone, we can make our phone more private, which is it's not allowed for another people. So the last reason why identification matters is because it can promote clarity in communication. When we do the clear identification of objects, people, or places, it can ensure better understanding among parties in day-to-day interactions. Let's jump to the next part. Identifying people. Identifying people also has a definition, the process of recognizing, distinguishing or confirming a person's identity using a specific characteristic, information, or features. And there are a lot of methods for identifying people. There are first methods, which is the traditional methods, is name, a fundamental identifier often used across cultures and essential in personal, legal, and social contexts. For example, to know each other, I would like to know about their name first to identify. What is her name? What is his name? Maybe her name is Rani. Maybe her name is Aisah. It's also called identification. And the second methods, the traditional methods, which is physical appearance, includes traits like facial structure, height, also clothes, and then often used in visual identification. For example, Rani has a tall height. She has a beautiful appearance and small face structure like that. After we know about her name, we know also about her physical appearance. And the third method is voice. The unique voice or unique vocal characteristics such as tone, pitch, and speech patterns can serve as identifiers. Rani, for example, her name is Rani, and her physical appearance, like he has a beautiful face, a small eyes and faces, a cute face and a smile, and also she has um she has louder voice. She has cute voice, cute tone when she explains material to her friends like that. So the first uh, important method is name, physical appearance, and also voice. And when we talk about the traditional methods, we also have the modern methods, which is there are AI facial recognition and biometric systems in the modern identifying people for the methods. The first thing is biometric systems. It advanced tools for identification using fingerprints, facial recognitions, or iris scanning. For example, when we do this, we lock our phone, we do the first thing is fingerprints. Sometimes it's located on the key tone like this. It also provides the fingerprints and facial recognition, which is the methods can recognize our face and it can unlock the phone. And the third is iris scanning. Sometimes we also found the iris scanning in a modern laboratory. It's scanning our pupil, our iris in on the part of our eyes like that. And also AI facial recognition, leveraging machine to learning automatically identify individuals through their facial features. AI facial recognition, it's not quite different with the biometric systems, but the differences is it using the AI methods, which is it's programmed by the AI or artificial intelligence like that. After that, I could simply tell you that the modern application of identification, it has 5 modern applications, like the biometric security, social media taking, surveillance, access control, and healthcare identification. The first, biometric security, is used in areas like airports and banking to verify identity safely and quickly, such as our PIN or our reckoning number like that, and also our security in airport. The second thing is social media taking. Like AI categorizes individuals in photos, aiding memory and social connection, which is like for the example like Instagram, TikTok. It also the modern application for identification ourselves. When we share our Instagram account or our TikTok account, it can provide our identification of of ourselves to another people. And the third is surveillance. Security system use AI to identify and track individuals in public spaces. It's not common for us, that's why I can't explain a lot about the surveillance. And the fourth thing is access control. The biometric solutions enable secure and efficient authorization for facilities or devices. It also sometimes we can find it on the modern company for the access control. Like we have sometimes the key card. It yeah, it can be provide like a key, modern key, and we can touch on the door with the door company. And also the fifth part is healthcare identification, which is we can find it in medical like hospital or the clinic, and patient identified accurately using biometric data to avoid medical error. Sometimes we also can find it in the laboratory like SIMA lab. When we visit the SIMA lab, we do the MRI or medical checking up like that. We do the medical checking, and they use healthcare identification for the application modern of identification. Okay, so the example of identifying people. The first example is teacher identifying students. Sometimes when the teacher explains, teacher uses a combination of students' names, face, behavior patterns, and student ID to ensure the accurate identification. For example, in our classroom, teacher using our names. For example, my name. Memade know my name as Firda or Emma. And my mother know my face, like maybe I have the beautiful face or unique face, something like that. And student ID like my name, which is 2579 blah 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 for the accurate identification. And then the second example is security verification. Like the airport staff rely on face and passport checks to confirm travelers' identities. When we do the traveling and when we on the airport, sometimes the airport staff ask us to show our identity card and our passport card. It's also the example of identifying people. In our identity card in our passport, it provides our name, our gender, and our address, and also our ages, which is the fourth part in identifying people. Okay, and then the customer service. Business use caller ID and voice recognition to provide personalized assistance effectively. It's not common in our daily life, but the customer service life also use the caller ID like in the company. After that, we'll talk about the defining people. After we talk about identifying people, we talk about defining people, which is the hash definition, the process of describing or explaining a person based on their characteristic, roles, qualities, identities, or relationships. Defining people has the five important benefits. Profession shapes identity, culture influences definitions, relationship defines social roles, social skills and experiences, and the variations across societies. The profession shapes identity, which is individuals often if defined based on their professional roles, such as we know Memade. Memade is a teacher or is a lecturer. She's not a doctor, she also not an engineer. It highlights their contributions and expertise within the society. The second is culture influences definitions. The cultural backgrounds play a significant role in defining people, such as the traditions, values, and custom provide a unique framework for individual identity. For example, my name is Firda and I have a Javanese culture as my background. When we talk about the Javanese culture, also people has their own imagination about the Javanese culture. And maybe Rani. Rani is a person who came from Kalimantan. Maybe she has a Dayak culture or maybe she has a Bugis culture. Yeah, some people have their own culture influences. And the third part, in relationship defines social roles. The relationships such as parent, friend, or mentor help categorize people based on their connection to others. So for example, Aisah is my friend, which is my friend is identified is the relationship between myself and Aisah. So myself and Aisah are a friend. And after that, the skills and experiences. The unique skills and life experiences are the key in shaping how people are defined, reflecting their capabilities and history. When we talk about the lecturer, such as perhaps the Mr. Yasin, he is our lecturer. His profession is the lecturer or docent. We know it as a docent. And his skills, he has a unique skills, which is when he explained the material, he also talk about the material effectively and quite comment. And the variations across societies in the definition of people can differ widely across cultures, influenced by historical, linguistic, and social factors, such as Mr. Yasin, a variation across societies, like maybe Mr. Yasin has a background from Madura culture, and that's why he has the linguistic like the Madura speaker like that. Maybe I don't know a lot. And then we talk about the identifying of objects. The definition of identifying object is the process of recognizing and distinguishing a physical thing based on its characteristic, appearance, function, or features, which is we will explain it next. Okay, there are 5 parts to identifying objects. There are defines what objects are, the attributes for identification, the role of functionality, the example of object identification, and the purpose of identification. The first is defines what objects are. It's objects, physical things that can be seen or touched, making them tangible entities in the world around us. They are distinct from abstract concepts like ideas or emotions. And the second is attributes for identification. Sometimes objects identified through their observable features such as shapes, color, size, material, and function. And each contribute provides unique clues for distinguishing one object from another. And also, it has a role of functionality. The function or purpose of an object often plays a critical role in its identification. For example, chairs are recognized not only by their structure, but by their intended use for sitting. And when we talk about the example and purpose, I will talk about for the example like this. In my hand, oh, sorry, I have earbuds. See, this is called earbuds. This is an object also. So the definition of earbud is an object for listening music or for do the calling to hear the voice clearly. The attribute identification, it has the white color for the case and the blue color for the things. And it also has the small size and the material is from plastic. The role of functionality, it can provide the clear sound or clear voices when we want to hear a music, when we want to do a call, it provides a clear sound. It's called identifying by the object, which is I will identify about the AirPods and the case. Next, we will talk about defining objects, which is the process of explaining what an object is by describing its characteristic, purpose, structure, or function. It's not quite different with the identifying, but it's just a defining about the objects. When identifying, it's talk the specific about the object, but defining is just describe what the object is. And defining object has 5 parts also, which is explain the purpose and then emphasize the unique features, highlight the categorization by the usage, and also when we talk about defining object, stress context a specific distinction and enhance clarity with the example. It's not quite different, which is I explained before about this AirPod and this function, characteristic, shapes, size, and the color. For instance, a book is defined as a stack of bound written pages used for reading, like that. When we talk about the book, we also know that book is for reading, right? Not book is for listening music. For listening music, we use these earbuds. Okay, next. We talk about identifying places. which is the process of recognizing or determining a specific location using its unique features, name, position, landmarks, or characteristic. We will talk about it more properly. When we identify places, we need to identification through name first. Places often recognized by their names, which hold cultural and geographical significance and help in categorizing both natural and human-made locations. After we identification through names, we use the coordinates. The coordinates offer precise, universally understood localization for mapping and understanding spatial position globally. And after that, we recognition by the landmark. The unique features or structures like the Eiffel Tower in Paris assist in the identification of specific places and their historical or cultural relevance. After that, we talk about the maps as a tool for identifying places, and maps provide us the visual representations of geographical areas, enabling efficient navigations and location identification. And the last part is influence of climate. Climate characteristics such as tropical or arid can help define the natural identity and environmental condition of places. For example, when we identify both places, I will talk about Indonesia. Indonesia is the identification through names. This place is called Indonesia. The coordinates, maybe it's located near the Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean like that. It's called the coordinates and geographic position like the landmark. And map as a tool, we can find Indonesian in the map, perhaps at the top of the Australian continents. Indonesia is located at the top of the Australian continents when we use map as a tool. And when we talk about the climate, Indonesia has tropical climates, which is means two climates like the dry season and rainy season. It's called identifying places by names, geographic, coordinate, maps, landmarks, and climate. So that we defining places. Defining places has a definition, the process of describing and explaining a location based on its physical features, purpose, culture, geography, story, or social significance. It has three-part geography. It includes physical attributes, the geographic coordinates aid navigation, and natural elements contribute uniqueness. The physical attributes, in example, include mountains, rivers, and places, which provide the key geographic for understanding a location natural environment. And the second is geographic coordinate and navigation. It latitude and longitude help pinpoint exact location on maps or GPS system. And the third part is natural elements contribute unique, which means the features like climate, which I described it before, and biodiversity set places apart from another. So when we talk about the geography, we talk about Indonesia. Indonesia and Australia, maybe it has a common culture, not common, but it also has the different geography, the different climates, different map and location, also different biography and coordinates. So different places has different names and different geographical places. And after we talk about the geography, we talk about the culture. The culture, it can influence traditional and practices. It has historical relationship that shapes culture, and it has food and lifestyle define culture significance. For example, in Indonesia, we have a lot of culture. Maybe we can talk about the Javanese culture. The Javanese culture influenced the traditions like wayang or maybe gamelan for the music or maybe for like the dancing, the traditional dance such as reok ponorogo. It influenced the tradition and practices. And when we talk about the Javanese culture, we also have the historical relationship that shape our culture. Maybe the historical for Candi Prambanan or Candi Borobudur that tell us the history of Roro Jonggrang and each other. And also Javanese culture has unique food and lifestyle. Sometimes we know food like pecel. Pecel is a traditional food that common known from the Japanese culture. So yeah, when we talk about culture in Indonesia, we have a lot of cultures, not only Japanese. We can talk about the Batak, we can talk about the Dayak, and also so on. And after we talk about the geography and culture, we will discuss about history, which is it can reflect the chronological importance, preserve artifacts signify legacy, and development over time shapes identity. The historical events create meaning for places like the battlefield or ancient cities, and the monuments and memorial tell stories of a place past for future generations. Such as the example is Lawang Sewu. When we talk about the Lawang Sewu in Semarang, in our minds, it also describes it has a lot of stories, a lot of memories that describe that Lawang Sewu places. And the development over time shapes identity is every location evolves through human or natural impacts, can adding depth to its historical definition. And it also has the purpose. The place serve functional roles defined by their purpose, such as library for providing knowledge, and then or a factory for maybe manufacturing goods. And also the purpose it has multifaceted usage, highlight diversity. A location might be versatile, like parks, serving recreation and ecological purposes. Maybe when we talk about swimming pool, it also a location that used for swimming and symbolic meaning matters. Places often hold emotional or symbolic importance, like landmarks associated with national pride or shared memories. In Indonesian, uh, we have Monas, Monument Nasional, which is a symbolic of Indonesian that hold emotional and symbolic importance. Okay, next, we are identifying the concept. It's the process of recognizing and understanding abstract ideas, categorized or mental representation based on their meanings and characteristics of relationship. After that, identifying concept, abstract nature of concept, examples of common concept, and methods of identification. By identifying concept, we can know the abstract nature of concept. Concepts are abstract ideas or mental categories that exist in the realm of thought. Unlike the physical entities, they are shaped by human cognition, experience, and cultural context. And after that, the example of common concept is frequently identified concept include freedom, the justice, love, democracy, and intelligence. These concepts symbolize complex ideas, often debated and interpreted differently. And the methods of identification of the concept is people identifying concept by leveraging tools such as language, which serves to define them, experience, which gives them context, symbol, which visually represent them, and the situational or cultural context in which they exist. Next, the defining of concept. As a definition is the process of explaining the meaning, characteristic, and understanding of an abstract idea or mental category. Defining concept has three parts, which is the complexity of defining abstract concept, the cultural influences on definitions, and interpretational differences. The abstract concept, like freedom, present challenge, they are not tied to tangible objects. Their meaning often shifts based on individual perceptions, societal norms, and historical context, making universal definition elusive. And the cultural influences on definitions is perspectively deeply influence how concepts are defined. For example, freedom in a democratic society might emphasize individual rights, while other cultures might prioritize collective responsibility. And the last thing is the interpretational differences, which is, for example, like the freedom to one person might mean lack of restriction, while to another, it may mean the presence of social stability and more opportunities. Next, when we're defining a concept, we can use language as a defining tool. Language used to define concept heavily impacts their understanding. Word, phrases, and symbols carry cultural and emotional nuances shaping how people interpret and abstract ideas. And the example, freedom as a challenge to define. Freedom as a concept, we have a concept of freedom, the difficulty of arriving at the singular definitions. While universally valued, its application and meaning vary across legal, cultural, and individual settings, showing the complexity of defining an inherently abstract term. There are 5 classification systems. Enhances the organizational efficiency, facilitates searchability, and promotes effective communication. And also strengthens the learning and meaning and adapts to diverse fields. We just explain it part by part. The enhanced organizational efficiency is grouping similar entities in better understanding by reducing complexity. The facilitated searchability is classifying items to ensure faster retrieval of information across domains, such as libraries, biologists, or digital systems, and promotes effective communication. By the classification system, we can promote our effective communication, that unified classification in common ground for sharing ideas clearly, fostering understanding, and locally and globally. And the second part is strengthen learning and adaptive to diverse fields, from digital tagging to linguistic categorization, classification, and organizes everything from abstract ideas to tangible objects effectively. Okay, when we do the identifying and defining, we talk about how the brain organizes information. Brain organize the information by recognizing the patterns, and after that, the forming categories, and the brain stores the memory and building the concept. Such as the brain identify patterns by analyzing the recurring structures, such as the shapes, sounds, or behaviors, which just simplifies the recognition process. And after the recognizing patterns, brain is forming the categories, which is cognitive process that groups similar stimuli into categories. And after that, the brain is storing the memories. Information is stored in our brains and retrieved through the associations, allowing concepts and entities to be connected with past experience or knowledge. And after doing that 3 parts, brain building the concept. The last thing is the building the concept. The abstract ideas emerge by connecting individual pieces of information into larger coherent and frameworks. For example, when we talk about bird, people identify birds by associating shared characteristics such as wings, feathers, and the ability to fly. These recognizable features allow for quick categorization of even unfamiliar avian species. When we talk about birds, we will talk about their wings, their color, their feathers, and the ability, like the pelican or maybe the pigeon, and so on. And technologies for identification has the machine learning, computer vision, natural language processing, and natural networks. When we talk about the machine learning and we have AI, we have the computer vision, which is allow for effective identification of faces, object environment, and natural language processing like the facilitates the identification and understanding of speech and text. And the neural networks, such as human brain function that helps AI classify and differentiate complex entities in identification tasks. Okay, the application in identification that common use, such as the self-driving cars, medical imaging in a hospital, such as X-rays, MRIs, and CT scan, smart assistant like Siri and Alexa in iPhone, and security system like the facial recognition and biometric authentication in our phone. We will discuss about the challenges in identification. It has 3 challenges: inconsistent interpretation, lack of clarity, and the example. The inconsistent is the terms or objects can have multiple meanings depending on the context. And the lack of clarity, when we talk about the concept, it has a poorly defined criteria or vague description can result in differing conclusion about the same entity. For example, the word bank could refer to a financial institution or a riverbank that require context to distinguish. Two types of identification path has a different meanings and concepts of interpretation. And cultural differences, it has varied norms and interpretation, language barriers. For example, when we talk about the concept of freedom, it differs significantly in interpretation between varying societies and tradition. And the real world example, for example, like airport security, it can enhance safety through identification. Modern airport security relies on face recognizing system and passport verification to ensure passenger identity. And the second word examples is online shopping. The efficient product categorization, like e-commerce platforms, use tagging and categorization algorithms to help customers easily find products based on their attributes like type, price, and brand, that improving the overall user experience. And the GPS navigation, streamlining travels like GPS system, identifying location using coordinates and maps, providing real-time guidance to travelers, making the complex navigation simpler and more efficient. The summary of all is highlights the role of identification and definition. Identification and definition help people understand and organize the world. Identification is the process of recognizing people, objects, places, and concepts through their features of characteristic, while definition explains their meaning, purpose, or role. And the second is shapes understanding through language and AI. The language and AI shape understanding by helping people and machines identify, define, and organize information. Language also gives meaning to people, objects, places, and concepts, while AI use technologies like machine learning and pattern recognition to process and understand data. And the significant across domains is identification and definition are important across many domains such as education, technology, and healthcare. So I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you for the inconvenience. I'm sorry if I have a mistake. Thanks.
Thank you, Emma, for delivering the material clearly and informatively. At this time, we would like to hear the perspective and evaluation from our predecessor. Therefore, I would like to invite Aisah to share her perception, feedback, and assessment regarding today's presentation. Please welcome Aisah.
Okay, the scoring for presentation, the aspect criteria, the content, I give score 5 because comprehensive, accurate, and fully relevant explanation. And vocabulary, I give score 5 because a wide range of precise and appropriate vocabulary. And fluency, score 5 to sorry because smooth natural no hesitation, and for pronunciation and clarity I give score 5 because very clear and easy to understand. And for the grammar 5, the score 5 too, and accurate and varied the structure. And this total score for the total score 25. And thank you. In my opinion, starting from the content, vocabulary, fluency, pronunciation is very good, and grammar is very good. And thank you very much for explaining the material.
Okay, thank you, Emma, for the good presentation. You explained the material clearly and gave easy to understand example about identifying and defining people, object, places, and concept. In my opinion, the presentation was organized well and easy to follow. The slides were also clear and helpful. For improvement, maybe more picture or interactive activities can be added to make the presentation more interesting. Overall, the presentation was informative and well delivered. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the scoring for Aisah and Rani. I appreciate it a lot, and it means a lot for me. I can improve my skill in the next steps or the future. Thank you. I give it back to Rani.
Okay, thank you everyone for your attention and participation during our presentation today. We hope the explanation about identifying and defining people, object, place, and concept has helped you understand the topic better. If there are any mistakes in our presentation, we sincerely apologize. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.